Got it. Great. Thank you again so much for everyone coming out. Before we get underway, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our team that has been working very tirelessly this last month to help put this together, to help secure speakers, market the webinar, and everything involved that goes into it. So first off, I'd like to introduce Ananya Krishnan, who is our Sustainable Business Research and Media Associate, and Daniela Trong, our Green Technology Research Associate. And they're both on camera. You should be able to see them. If you have any questions throughout the webinar about if you need to come off mute for any reason, I'm not sure what that would be, but if later on you want to ask a question during our Q&A and you'd like to ask it yourself, just message Daniela or Ananya and they will turn off your mute for you. If you have any other questions throughout, you can also message them or me or Michelle. With that being said, we'll just move on. Michelle, would you like to do a quick introduction to the U.S. Green Chamber and what we're trying to accomplish?
Yes, hi everyone. Welcome, and I just want to say thank you for coming today. We are part of the Chambers for Sustainability Coalition, so we at the U.S. Green Chamber are helping to lead it, but at the same time, this is a coalition and we welcome everybody to be a part of this. We're going to have a coalition meeting coming up in probably late October. We're still trying to schedule that. So we want, if you join the coalition, we want to invite you to come to that as well. And it's really about us building this movement of chambers coming together, having Veronica and Florencia here today to speak from South America is really just so unique because we don't always get to hear what's happening in other parts of the world and how they're really leading on sustainability. We've had people from, Singapore and Hong Kong and Europe and Canada and other areas. So this is an area that we haven't had just amazing speakers like we're going to have today. So I just wanted to welcome everyone and welcome Florencia and welcome Veronica. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And if you're interested in getting involved, if you're work with a chamber, if you're lead a chamber and you're here today, please feel free to email me at Jesse@US Green Chamber. I'll put that in the chat as well. Like Michelle said, we welcome everyone, even if you don't have sustainability initiatives yet, but you're looking to get them started. That's a great place. This is a great place to start because we've got a lot of people who've got all the experience needed and all the guidance needed to help you get there. One more thing before we jump into our speakers is we'll be having a Q&A at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions throughout the event, please just contact me in the chat box at jesse.grains, and I will relay those questions to the panelists when the time comes. With all that out of the way, I would first and foremost like to thank our speakers for joining our call today. They are both very accomplished and have largely contributed to the sustainability sector through their chambers. If you'd like to see their full biographies, they're posted on the Eventbrite. Most of you came in through that route, so you might have seen them there. Today, we are so happy and honored to have Florencia Salvi and Veronica Torres. They are both longtime sustainability leaders representing chambers from South America. Florencia is here representing AmCham Argentina, the American Chamber in Argentina, and Veronica is here representing the Santiago Chamber of Commerce, two very big and established chambers, I might add. Our first speaker today will be Florencia from the American Chamber of Commerce in Argentina. Florencia, you ready?
Okay, thank you so much. So hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the U.S. Green Chambers for inviting AmCham Argentina and me to this webinar. It is a privilege to be here with leaders from North and South America to share the role of chambers as a key actor promoting sustainability. In the next minutes, I will try to share with everyone the sustainability journey that we experience in AmCham Argentina from 2005 until today. I will try to address lessons learned, challenges, not only to share knowledge, but also to build collaboration. Let me introduce a little bit of myself. I'm a psychologist with a postgraduate studies in NGO management, and I work the last 20 years in sustainability, working with companies, governments, and NGOs. Another few words about AmCham Argentina. As Jesse mentioned recently, AmCham it's a non-profit organization that has more than 600 members that all are companies, small, medium, and large, but not only American companies. We have Argentinian companies and other nationalities. AmCham was founded 103 years ago. That's a lot of time. And nowadays has a strong bonds with government, fostering innovation and working very close to companies and NGOs. From my experience, chambers are key actors in the business ecosystem. Chambers build trust and help companies address important issues and tendencies. This is one of the reasons why I work very hard for the last 17 years as sustainability manager, and now as independent sustainability expert, I work with chambers and companies also. So now I would like to share the flagship sustainability initiative of AmCham Argentina, which is called Premio Ciudadanía Empresaria, or Corporate Citizenship Awards in English. It's an award that recognizes companies that are doing well in sustainability. Start back in 1999, 23 years ago. And before sharing how important it was, I would like to say that we inspired to create the Premio Ciudadanía Empresaria at the Premio ECO from AmCham San Pablo. AmCham San Pablo was very open to help us and to share all the knowledge they had to replicate the awards here in Argentina. So we are very, very pleased about that, and we deeply believe in collaboration and the power of knowledge exchange. I'm responsible for the awards since 2005, and every year we do improve and look forward to innovate in order to have a world-class initiative. The Corporate Citizenship Award was launched back in 1999, as I said, to recognize social initiatives in those days. Through the years, the award focused on promoting initiatives in areas such as education, environment, community, supply chain. In 2008, we introduced an ambitious category called Sustainability-Oriented Business Management in order to distinguish a way of doing business with the sustainability in the strategy. The companies present a little GRI to participate, and we launched the top 10 sustainability-oriented companies. That was really a success. Today, the award recognizes sustainability initiatives in corporate governance, environment, and society. In environment, for example, this year we have water initiatives, energy, and carbon. In other categories, we also have gender issues, transparency, community. And we also recognize companies that are disruptive in the way of creation of value for the environment, society, and shareholders. They are the triple impact companies, and we call that category New Business Paradigm. With more than 20 years of experience, the Business Citizenship Award is recognized as one of the main national distinctions in initiatives for responsible business. The award recognizes also triple impact companies because now we believe that innovation and disruption is key to a new economy model. One of the strengths of this initiative, of the Corporate Citizenship Award, is the key role of the jury, which works ad honorem, and it's fully integrated by people from the academia. But the award was not alone. We create a variety of activities, forums, open dialogues, with the aim or the goal of addressing sustainability as a way of doing business. And also we articulate with many, many actors from governments to NGOs. I want to be honest and say that this was not an easy journey. It was full of obstacles. First of all, when we are addressing a new paradigm, many people think that it's not a strategic issue, so we need to convince them. And let me say also that this was possible because of AmCham leaders, because of the board, the support that we have from the board, the CEO, Alejandro Diaz, the COO, Daniela Martin. They were key, even those days where the vision wasn't very clear. Nowadays, speaking about sustainability is easier than 15 or 10 years ago. Now, let's talk about a few minutes about memberships and how chambers deliver with their members. In our experience, the role of CSR or sustainability committees, the role is key. They could foster sustainability among companies, and the leadership of chairs and co-chairs of the committees was very important too. But let me say that we realize how to turn this committee useful, listening the needs of the members. And we invite companies to share what we call the kitchen. And when we say the kitchen, we create a space to speak about how difficult was implement, how difficult was getting people on board. As an example of that, many sustainability leaders find difficulties addressing sustainability with colleagues. So we implement a wide series of meetings where, for example, the Chief Sustainability Officer invite the CFO or the head of supply chain to the meetings. And once they were there, they listened what other companies were doing, and they start to understand sustainability. So nowadays, things change. COVID-19 helped us to show how interconnected we are and how important social and environmental issues could be. We all read and listen about climate change, circular economy, carbon emissions, new materials, and new way of production. Before ending my words, I want to say that working in sustainability, it is a very exciting job where innovation, inspiration, collaboration plays a key role. So I would like to leave the door wide open to continue this conversation. In sustainability, we need to work together, be responsible, push the limits to really let the change happen. My concern now is the speed of the change. We need to collaborate to scale the change that people, planet, and business need. And as I said, I remain open to dialogue, and thanks again to the organizers and the audience for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Florencia. I would also like to just commend you on your years and years, not only with the chamber, but you yourself, your years of work you've put in to sustainability. I think that you and the AmCham Argentina in general are true pioneers in this movement. Nowadays, we see so many chambers that are just getting started. Like, it just occurs to many chambers now that this is something we need to do. But back in 2005, back in 1999, with the Corporate Citizenship Award, you really are a pioneer in this movement, and we are so honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Up next, from the Cámara de Comercio de Santiago, excuse my poor Spanish accent, we've got Veronica Torres. Veronica? And Veronica, during your, let's see.
I am mute.
Great.
Thank
You should be good now.
Thank you so much, Jesse. My apologies because my English is not really good. I will try my best, okay? First, hi everyone. Many thanks to the U.S. Green Chamber for inviting the Santiago Chamber of Commerce to this activity and for promoting sustainable development in our region. Thank you so much. The Santiago Chamber of Commerce is a business organization established 102 years ago. At the moment, it represents 2,400 members, companies of all of sectors and sizes. Our vision, the next slide, please. Thank you. Our vision and purpose is being the leader organization for the future of business and trade and contribute to the development of Chile. We have defined sustainability as one as our strategic focus for the future, and we are committed to work and promote the balance between economic growth, care for the environment, and social welfare. It's important based on a strong governance system that guarantee highest standard of business integrity. This strategy is divided in two main areas. The next slide, please. I think that internal sustainability is so important because we think it is very important to introduce to an organization all the principles and practice we promote. We gain experience by doing and validate our actions in front of our members and try to lead by example. Last year, on 2020, we established our sustainability strategy. We start measuring our carbon footprint, and we are concentrate on our goal to have our first sustainability report by 2022. Our integrated report by 2024, and achieves the objective to be carbon neutral in all our operation by 2025. Involving in these steps, the whole team and workers at our chambers. The next, please. In the second focus is toward our company members. In this sense, regarding sustainability toward our company members, the agenda focuses on the principles of business conduct. These 7 principles. We developed on 2020 in cooperation with the program of corporate sustainability of the law school of the Pontificia Universidad Católica of Chile. With document, we seek to set the standard of conduct for the company members of our organization. The 7 principles cover the next slide, please. Thank you. The 7 principles covered by this document are in line with the ESG areas of business development, environment, social, and governance, in order to develop an agenda of projects and concrete actions that help our company's members to adapt these principles. The next slide. Now, I would like to highlight the main activities of our Agenda 2021. The first is program to build purpose. Purpose is the first principle. And this activity is oriented to leaders of our members' companies linked to the first principle of business conduct. This program is to rethink or define their business purpose. I am sure that purpose must be the deepest expression of the potential of an organization to improve and cause positive impact in the life of the people and the planet. So I think that purpose is contribution, is identity, is direction for all the companies. The next, another our relevant project is oriented to the promotion of virtuous ecosystems in the supply chain related to principle number 4. Here we have a medium-term roadmap that starts with the develop a guide for sustainability supply chain, the creation of purchase committee, and the creation of observatory with the public and private sector and the academia to establish standards and provide a seal of recognition for the best practices of buyers and suppliers. The first step in this roadmap is the develop a guide that will be launched next October. This document will be offering guidelines and management models to build a long-term relationship in the supply chain that benefits the buyers and the suppliers, being part of the value chain of the company, making the link with ESG principles with the operation of companies. We think that this perspective contributes to manage and reduce risk, identify opportunities and improvement and innovation, improve the economic performance and corporate reputation, anticipate to new regulation, higher level of transparency, reduce corruption acts, and contributing with a strategic look. The next slide. In topic related to environment, we have two major areas of work. The first one is circular economy, where we are representative of sector of electric and electronic appliances to take proper care of e-waste in Chile and comply with the regulation in this matter that will be effective 2024. We have several pilot activities to collect e-waste in some areas of Santiago. We have also developed some educational materials for children and community that is being contributed by Ministry of the Education of our country. We also cooperate with the Ministry of Environment in the creation of public policies regulating e-waste and the roadmap of circular economy of our country to 2040. Finally, in circular economy projects, we are starting a public-private project to innovate in e-commerce packaging. Our chambers has been the main driving force of e-commerce in Chile, given the rapid growth of the sector in COVID period. We are very concerned about the waste in packaging it produces. The next slide, please. Yeah. Oh, the next, please. Here. In overhead, our core environment area is climate action, in which we are supporting many global initiatives, such as the Climate Ambition Alliance and ICC Chambers for Climate. At a national level, we are part of the executive committee of business initiatives such as United Climate for Action and the Alliance for Climate Action Chile. For our members, we have developed a special program with the Ministry of the Environment with the objective of helping companies to measure, mitigate, and neutralize their carbon footprint. As respect of governance, our members must be agree with the principles of business conduct, the 7 principles business conduct. We participate in local networks in order to prevent corruption, money laundering, and to promote business integrity. In this matter, we have developed special educational material and promotional activities started in companies. The next. Yeah. Regarding sustainable finance, we are supporting institutions of Unified, and as such, we promote all the programs related to the principles of responsible banking and principles of responsible investment and responsible insurance. The next. And finally, in order to make forward step in this agenda, We strongly believe in cooperation and creation of networks. In this way, we think that SDGs 17 is very necessary for our work by means of alliance with the public sector, international organisms, academia, business organizations, NGOs, and media that help us disseminate our message and promote our agenda. It's a resume about our initiatives and programs. Thank you so much for invite me to this activity.
Thank you so much. I think I'd like to commend you as well on your work internally to make your chamber as sustainable as it can be, not just to promote sustainability elsewhere, but to really take it seriously yourself, especially your goals to reach carbon neutrality by 2025. That is one of the most ambitious goals that we've seen, not just in businesses, but I wish more countries would take goals similar to that, be more ambitious. So I'd like to commend you on that. With that, we're going to move into our Q&A discussion period. Please feel free throughout the period to message me with any more questions you have for our speakers. And I'll just get underway with the ones we have so far. So the first question I have, this is a question for Florencia with AmCham. As the main binational chamber in Argentina, do you feel that your goals and missions take on a more global scope as opposed to just thinking about your local community? Do you think about yourselves as well as the US companies you're working for and how the impacts stretch across the world?
Yeah, but let me say that we focus in the impact that global companies have in Argentina, because what we saw especially at the beginning was that multinational companies used to have very developed initiatives outside, let's say in US or in Europe, and in South America, those initiatives were very, very little, let's say. So at the beginning, we start to address sustainability, and always we focus on the impact that the companies have in our country, because it's very difficult to go and see what they were doing outside. So we focus, we choose to focus in the local impact, let's say, but many times we went to look for inspiration at the US Chamber of Commerce or in, I don't know, in Netherlands or UK. We try to inspire us by those who were doing really, really well. And we thought that trying to address like a global impact was something very big for us, let's say. I think that could be my answer.
Thank you so much. Now I think that many small chambers will look to your chamber to be inspired on how to move forward. At least I hope. That's one of our main goals of these events that we hold here, is that some of the chambers who maybe are looking to get started can look at the successes of chambers like yours and like Veronica's and look at how you have been so successul over the years.
Let me say, let me say that the role of Brazil in the region, it's very important, because now, you know, after COVID, but after when the crisis, Brazil had a strong crisis going on, but even though they had a very, very deep work in sustainability, there's a bunch of companies that are doing really well there. So for us in the region, there were a really benchmark, or, you know, a star where you look all the times and try to replicate the good things, right? So I wanna share that.
Thank you. My next question is for both of you. Maybe Veronica, you can go first since Florencia just spoke, but it relates to your point on the need to speed up and scale all of our initiatives, Florencia. how do you feel in South America specifically, or in your country, in your community specifically, how do you feel like we need to speed up the process? How do we get more businesses engaged? As we all know, we don't have that much time left before we're facing more catastrophic climate disasters. Do you have any ideas about how, as whatever country we're in, how we can all speed up the movement? Oh, sorry.
Veronica?
I think she's muted. You should, yeah, there we go.
Oh, thank you. Now, I think that to accelerate, to improve, how to say compromise? Engagement to the many companies with sustainability development. I think that consumers are actually so important to move the companies. I think that new generation of consumers are a principal actor today.
That's a perfectly good answer.
Good.
Thank you.
Let me add, I think that innovation could be a very good tool to scale, because when you see a startup that begins with the gene of sustainability, or DNA of sustainability, it's easier. So we need to, nowadays we think that innovation could be a great tool, but really, honestly, I don't have the answer, because it's really difficult to reach the speed that we really need. Not only in Argentina or the region, but also worldwide, let's say. Now we need to do it more quickly, let's say.
I think that excuse me, public policies too is important. Avanzar, how do you say?
Go forward.
Yes. In environmental themes, for example, in Chile is ambitious public policies in this term, and mobilize to companies in this sense.
I'm curious, within your chambers, each of your chambers, I know, Florencia, you've been doing this for a long time within your chamber, and I know, Veronica, you probably have too, but outside of each of you, within your chamber, who are the passionate, drivers that are helping to, elevate what you're doing and making sure that you're leading on sustainability? Is it, one of, your board members, or is it, some of the random companies, or is it the community trying to push you guys into being leaders? Like, who are the drivers that are really pushing each of you to be successful in what you're doing?
Here in AmCham Argentina, we have a group of company champions, let's say, that they help us, and they are passionate about this, and perhaps they are the companies that also won the awards many times. So they are there and trying to address and to inspire others to do the same, because as we were saying, the speed of change, it's something that people who work in sustainability know that it's an issue. So even though if you are a member of AmCham or not, and let me say that in sustainability, AmCham works with different companies, not only members. It's open activity. So the answer is we have a group of champions of companies that help us, and most of them belong to the board, to AmCham's board. So they are almost the same, but not the CEO who sit at the board, it's the champion. But for example, the chief sustainability officers are the ones that are pushing and trying to address a lot of activities and raising the bar, let's say.
Excellent. And Veronica, what about you? And I'll just also ask, I see Vic put in the questions, may I ask how funding, or I'm sorry, how did you get people to show interest and get involved, I think, in that whole process? So maybe just follow up with, you know, like who are the players, and then how do you get those people involved?
I think that some boards, or every day more boards or CEOs are involving in sustainability themes, because I think that I retained generational retained. More younger CEOs are new sweet about development of business. Now is a must to consider sustainability in development business. Think that like environmental, social, and governance are today a must in business development. So other drivers are recently established companies, the new incubation companies, where young people or startups are so inspired and motivated to change the way of business.
Perfect, wonderful. And I know we have one question, but just out of curiosity, from a percentage wise, how many large companies versus small companies? And I do this for Frank, who is just on our call, who's with Small Business Chamber of Commerce. But do you have like the majority, 75% of large businesses versus 25% of small businesses that you represent, each of you, just on average?
We are represent about 30% of large size companies and 7 small and medium.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, we are 50-50.
Yeah.
50% of multinationals and 50%, because there's most of the small businesses that are part of our membership are services companies. That's an important point, but it's 50-50.
Wonderful. I would have thought it was bigger, so nice to know.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I did notice on both of your, of those large companies, there are some very, very large companies, especially the American ones that I recognize the names of. I was amazed at all of the ones that were involved with your chamber. Our next question is from Vic in the chat. And his question is, how do you obtain funding for these projects? That's a big thing that a lot of our chambers have run into issues with, especially when members maybe aren't as excited about sustainability. How do you obtain funding to run these large scale projects?
Okay, I start if you want. We fundraise for every initiative. For example, now that we are ending this edition of the awards in November, next November, we will have the winners, and every year we have a budget for this initiative, and we We look for sponsors among our membership and also outside, but most of the sponsors are part of the AmCham members. So every initiative, for example, if we organize a forum, we ask the companies for some kind of sponsorship. Let's say you can be platinum or, you know, gold, silver, whatever, but we fundraise for every initiative. The companies put money, and that's the way we organize things as a project.
Amazing, thank you.
Oh, in our case, we have our budget for sustainability strategy. All the members pay annual fee. So one part of fee is for finance sustainability strategy, because it's our one focus of our strategy. And some projects are financial with a special sponsorship. By example, e-waste for electric and electronics. Companies of this sector, financial initiatives about these issues.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm curious, this is another thing a lot of our members talk to us about and at these webinars. So you mentioned having a fee and having sponsors. Do you ever run into businesses that protest that are against spending that fee or against contributing to this overall global good? And if you do, how do you manage that? If it happens at all.
No, the thing is that if some company it's not aligned with putting money for being a member of a chamber or to, I don't know, to participate as a sponsor of one initiative, we don't do anything. We try to dialogue with everyone, even though let me share something that was interesting. 3 years ago, we opened a dialogue with these small triple impact companies, trying to figure out how they could be part of AmCham, or learn something about the big companies. And in that open session, they say, okay, we want to be part of AmCham. We want to pay a membership and be part of the chamber. And we say, oh, we never thought about that possibility, because they were very small, tiny companies. And we built a special membership only for triple impact companies. And nowadays, if you are a triple impact company, you can be part of AmCham too. So I don't know. We always were very open and trying to listen and be part of what the companies need.
Are you providing a discount for the smaller triple? Like what kind of discount are you providing?
It's like I'm not sure, but almost the 30% of the full membership.
That's really good. And are they, the ones that are getting the discount, are they a verified greener company, or do they just have a lot of initiatives that show that they're doing good?
We verify that they are, we have 5 criteria that are, for the awards, we use a 5-point criteria of that you need to pass to be a triple impact company. No, so if they pass that 5 criteria, they could be part of that membership and have the discount.
That's a huge benefit. I mean, that's a
Yes.
great benefit for people and younger innovators to come in and to be part of your membership and to be able to connect with the larger membership. Veronica, do you guys have anything like that with your chamber yet?
We never happen to protect to receive on this matter. I think that today these topics related to sustainability are very popular. Our webinars are so many participants. So
you have the people coming in anyways.
Oh.
You don't need to bring them in even with a discount.
Many new regulations, so it's so interesting for the companies understand and know, respect how to affect the operation, this new regulation. So our activities are so popular.
Are either of you working with other chambers in your community as a whole?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
And are those chambers, do they have sustainability initiatives that you know of? And are they leading in the same capacity or maybe even a less capacity on some level in the green space?
We are part of the of ACLA, which is an alliance of American chambers of Latin America, and they get together twice a year to exchange practices, and that's why we are really close to, for example, AmCham Sao Paulo, also AmCham Chile, AmCham Uruguay. And the main goal of that alliance is to exchange practices and also difficulties and trying to figure it out how to go forward, no? Yeah.
In our case, cooperation and creation of networks is key for our work. In Chile, I think that we have leader in this matter in Chamber of Commerce, because exists a chamber of many sectors. But in commerce, I think that we are a leader in this matter, but we work in cooperation with many organizations. In the last slide is one sector with we work.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, the SDGs, was it 17 is really, it's important why we exist as well. So, and I know that we're just about out of time here, and I wanted to make sure that we took any final question, and then I know Jesse has just a brief overview of what we're doing as the Chambers for Sustainability Coalition that he can go through, but any final questions? Anything? Okay.
I think
go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and jump in. So what this presentation is based on is not just what we're doing as the Chambers for Sustainability, but kind of the Chambers movement as a whole, and what exists now and what can exist in the future if we keep working together as you all have mentioned, and collaborating and building out this global movement. So I assume that you, Florencia and Veronica, you both have been in this space for a long time. You know what you can accomplish as a Chamber of Commerce. But I think a lot of times when we first talk to people about what we do, they say, well, why chambers? What can a Chamber of Commerce do? Aren't those, especially in the US, aren't chambers just focused on the bottom line, on capitalism and making as much money through extractive means as possible? So this presentation just goes over kind of what we found to be true regarding green chambers and where the movement's going from here. So first off, I want to start. So this is our 10th webinar in the series since we started the coalition, I believe in last June or early last summer. So we're only a bit over a year old, and still in that time, we've had speakers representing almost all continents in the world. As you can see, we've got, the location is not exact, I know, but we've got Argentina right here and Chile right here, as well as we've had the ICC Brazil chapter and the Colombia Green Chamber. We had our first speaker from Africa at our last webinar, the Lagos Chamber, which is doing really great things for solar energy and renewable energy. We've got some European chambers. I saw, Vic, that you are here from the Cambridgeshire Chamber. We've had the Bristol Chamber speak before. The point of this is not to advertise our webinars. The point is to show that this is a global movement, that people all over the world are starting to take part in making their chambers green, in making them more socially aware, and hopefully this movement will only accelerate as we continue forward. This movement is also not only led by the large chambers with a lot of money, with a lot of multinational corporations. This movement is being led, we have found, by every size of chamber, every type of chamber that exists. We have one member, this one is close to home for me. We have one member, the Rome Floyd Chamber, which represents a very mid-sized town in rural Georgia, which is where I live in the South. And this chamber reached out to us to try to get their sustainability initiatives underway. They had nothing, and then they were approached by some members and they wanted to help them recycle more. They approached us. In the last 6 months, they've started a green certificate program. They've given out green awards. They've just been really an amazing example of how a chamber can impact its community no matter its size. On the other side, we've had the Eurocham of Singapore speak. This chamber represents some of the largest corporations in the entire world, many of them, in fact. And to hear their very broad sustainability initiatives that include forums and special events is equally as impactful. Moving forward. So this brings me to the question of why chambers of commerce? Why is this the area that we are focused on as far as moving this needle? Florencia, you mentioned the need to increase the scale and speed with which we are all operating and with which climate action is underway. We think that chambers of commerce could be really, really key in this. They're one of the largest business institutions in the world. And as we all know, or as anyone who studies sustainability knows, changing people's individual impacts is not going to get us out of this crisis. I recycle, I compost. That is not going to save the world. That individual impact is just too marginal in the face of the amount that we are emitting. Therefore, it is far more important that we get to the companies, that we get to the large business institutions, the large cities that are actually the ones emitting CO2, emitting greenhouse gases, polluting. Chambers of commerce are uniquely positioned to reach these businesses. Not only that, chambers of commerce are prolific in the sense that there are many, many all around the world. In the US alone, there are over 7,500 chambers. And then we've worked really hard to get estimates of other countries. It can be rather difficult, but our estimates are that there's over 30,000 chambers in the world, each with hundreds of their own members, in some cases thousands. I know in South America and Europe, there are many countries where by law, to be in a business, to have a business, you must be part of your chamber. That makes those chambers of commerce some of the more powerful institutions in their areas. And in Germany, in Germany and France, there are some chambers that represent over 100,000 businesses alone. Obviously, when you have that much power, when you have that much scale, there's a lot you can be done for both good and bad. Historically, especially in the US, especially in some of the most economy-driven countries in the world, chambers have done just that. They've driven the economy. They've been focused on profit over social, profit over environment, profit over everything. If we can change that mindset and change the chamber community as a whole to focus on social, environmental, basically on what our two speakers today are focused on the ESGs, on the Sustainable Development Goals. If we can change the mindset to focus on these things, the impact could be immeasurable, and it could really help us move the needle and keep our planet alive. Chambers also are unique in the sense that they lobby in their local communities they lobby for local policies and practices through their advocacy. We find that this is the most powerful way chambers can get involved. We've seen some really amazing examples in the US of chambers lobbying against oil, against new construction of landfills and for increased recycling, things in that manner. This is a way that chambers with all of their business members can come together to fight for a greater purpose. And then one more slide. Lastly, how to get involved. So obviously not everyone on this call and very few people in general work for a chamber of commerce. What's much more likely is that you are a business and that you are a member of a chamber of commerce. Within that position, you also hold a lot of power. We very often reach out to chambers and try to get them to go green, but they're way less likely to listen to us, an outside entity, than they are to listen to their own business members who pay their dues, who keep them active, and who they are designed to support. We've seen many examples where green businesses will go talk to their local chamber leadership, go start sustainability committees, ask for initiatives that they want to see implemented. And in a lot of cases, this has worked out really well. If you are, we've got someone attending the meeting rather late. If you are a chamber leader, then you have a unique opportunity to work with your business members to find those business members that are doing the work and to establish events or committees suited to them and to try to transition your chambers that maybe aren't doing as much more towards green practices. What's most important in all of this is to not exclude anyone and to find common ground within your community. Working together is so important. Building partnerships, like Veronica was saying, with other corporations, some of which might not be as green as others. Bringing everyone to the table is going to be crucial as we continue to fight this sometimes insurmountable feeling challenge that is climate change. And the chamber movement can play a huge role in that. Thank you so much for coming to the webinar today. And I hope that, I know personally, I learned a lot from our two speakers today, and I hope that everyone learned something they can take home as we continue this movement.
Yes, I want to say thank you again so much, Florencia and Veronica, and thanks to our team. Thank you, Jesse, for moderating today. And thank you to all of our attendees. It's really nice to have people being represented by the chamber movement here and learning from each of you and just hoping to grow this movement. We personally invite each of you to come into the Chambers for Sustainability Coalition. We're just bringing everybody together to learn from each other. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for invitation. I remain available for any cooperation in the future.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.